Welcome to Ayurveda and Spirituality with your host, Alakananda Ma, a renowned Ayurvedic expert and a graduate of a top London medical school. She is the principal of Alundi Ayurveda Gurukula, a unique apprenticeship-style school in Boulder, Colorado. She is a spiritual mother, teacher, flower essence maker, and storyteller. Join us as we uncover the timeless principles of Ayurveda, discover practical tips for enhancing vitality, and explore the deeper dimensions of spirituality that intertwine with the ancient science of life.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Satsang. Satsang is a meeting of hearts, a gathering of friends to inquire into the truth. Today, we're going to continue looking into Kena Upanishad. And as we come to book 3, Kena Upanishad does a funny thing that has puzzled many people down the ages. It becomes completely different and starts going into the mode of telling a story, and a very enigmatic story at that. I love this story, but this is a story that has puzzled commentators down the ages. So the story goes that Brahman, we remember who Brahman is, right? The ground of all being, the one without a second. Brahman won a victory for the gods. And the gods are all like, ho, 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 this is so great. We won, we got a victory. Let's have a triumphal march. We have triumphed. We're so great. Aren't we great? Brahman didn't think this was a very good idea because the gods had lost track of who actually won the victory. So Brahman appears before the gods. Some of the texts and commentaries state that Brahman appears in the form of a demon. I don't see this in my text, but a wonder, a demon, a something, this baffling something appears before the gods. So the one among the gods that's usually the messenger, the finder outer, is Agni. So they all say to Agni, oh, Jatavedas, that's a nickname or another name for Agni. Off you go find out what this demon or this wonder or this weird thingy is. Sure, I'll do it, says Agni, and he rushes up. And it says, well, who are you? And Agni says, I am Agni. I am Jatavedas. Yes, so what can you do? Literally, what power is in you? I could burn up the whole world. Everything that's on the earth, I could burn it. We know about that. There's some really big fires right now in beautiful Wyoming and other places. We know that Agni can burn a lot of stuff, right? So this wonder or this demon, depending on your translation, puts down a blade of grass in front of Agni and says, okay, burn this. Agni comes with all his heat, and he heats, and he heats, and he sparks, and he sparks, but he can't burn that one blade of grass. Sort of with his tail between his legs, except Agni doesn't have a tail. He comes back to the gods rather crestfallen and he says, I couldn't do it. I haven't been able to find out what this thing is. Who gets to be next? Vayu, the wind. Can Vayu? Off you go, Vayu. You sort it out. You find out what this wonder is. Sure, says Vayu. He blows off. He runs up to this thing and it says, so who are you? And Vayu says, I'm Vayu. I'm Matarishwaran. Okay, so what do you do? Literally, what power is in you? I can blow everything away. Again, we've had pretty bad experiences lately about what Vayu can do when all the stuff in different states in the south where there were hurricanes, all people's stuff became projectiles and were blowing around. Vayu really can blow a lot of stuff, right? So it, the demon or whatever we say it is, puts down a blade of grass and says, okay, off you go, blow this away. Sure, says Vayu. And he huffs and he puffs. He blows and he blows, but he can't move a single blade of grass. Oh no. So he goes back, his tail between his legs, so to say, and he says, I can't find out what this is. So now we're going to send Indra. Now we're going to send the mind. Bhagavan, the greatest of all of the gods. Okay, you better go find it out. We sent the deputies. They couldn't do it. Now you got to send the big guy himself. Well, a very interesting thing happens here because when Indra runs up to this thing, this demon, this wonder, poof, it disappears. Poof, it's gone. And then who appears? A most beautiful, a most radiant, a most beautiful woman, Uma Haimavati. She appears. So then Indra, the mind, asks Uma Haimavati, so what is this thing? This wonder, this like weird thing? Uma says, Brahman, you were triumphing in the victory that you actually didn't win. The victory was actually won by Brahman. That is the story. That is the story that has puzzled commentators down the ages. Because we had the previous part of Kena Upanishad was in poetry, and it was about urged on by whom does the mind fly? Harnessed by whom does the breath move? Remember? By whom is urged on the speech that folk utter, and which God harnesses the eye and ear? He is the ear of the ear, the mind of the mind, the speech of speech, the breath of the breath, the eye of the eye. Knowing this, the wise renounce, and when they leave this world, they become immortal. That's how Kena Upanishad has been up until now. And now it's gone into prose and it's gone into storytelling mode, and it's telling a very enigmatic story. And part of what has puzzled people down the ages is, who is this woman that appears? So he beheld in that very spot, I'm going to look at a different translation, a woman, Uma. She is very beautiful. She is golden colored. And she is the daughter of Himavat. And in this translation, it says, what is this great spirit? So we have different views. It's a wonder, it's a demon, it's a great spirit, but it's something scary and different that they saw. So what, remember about Shankaracharya, who was the founder of the school of Advaita Vedanta, and how we're in his lineage? So what does he say? Bhagavan, Indra, Maha Bhagavan, the great God, the most powerful, says, okay, he runs up to that. Hut! That vanished from his sight. When he was near the Brahman, it vanished, and it didn't even talk to him because, says Shankara, it wished to crush altogether his pride at being Indra. So remember, Indra, we can think, is the mind. Above these other senses, above these other organs, is the mind. But what has Kena Upanishad been trying to teach us all along? That the mind cannot know its own source. That's what we were talking about last time. The mind cannot know its own source. So here is in story form, and Shankara says Brahman wants to crush Indra's pride, what wants to really show the mind, you can't know me. When the mind runs close to Brahman, those of us that meditate, that have spent years meditating, that have spent years reading, have spent years studying, we've all had this experience time and time again, where the mind approaches you reading this great thing and you almost get it and you haven't got anything. This has happened to me. I can't tell you how many times over the years that I have run up to this with my mind. Poof, I almost feel like I got it, but I didn't get anything because the mind cannot know its own source. The mind has to be turned back on itself, as this Upanishad was previously saying. So we have this experience over and over of reading something, feeling that we've run up to it, and it's gone. It's vanished. But who is there? So Indra is there, and Shankaracharya says, in the very spot where the spirit showed itself and from which it vanished, and near the place where Indra was, the moment Brahman vanished, Indra stood discussing with himself. He does something really different from what Agni and Vayu do. This is something that Shankara points out. He doesn't run back and say, it's gone, game over. He doesn't do that. And we don't do that at that moment when the mind almost seems like, I got it. Ah, mind stopped. Indra stays there, stands discussing within himself what that spirit was and didn't return like Agni and Vayu. Seeing his attachment to that spirit, Vidya appears in the form of a woman. So a lot of the teachings of Shankara tie into the teachings of Sri Vidya, the goddess in the form of supreme knowledge. So Shankara seems a little reluctant about this Uma Haimavati thing, because first of all, he worships Sri Vidya. He loves Vidya. You know, we talk about the Ayurvidya, the spirit that bestows us the wisdom of Ayurveda. There's the Sri Vidya that bestows us the supreme knowledge. And Shankara says, well, that must have been who appeared. It was Vidya. It was that it was Sophia, right? Shankara doesn't say it was Sophia, but we're familiar with the Greek idea of Sophia, the wisdom goddess. We're familiar with different lineages that personify wisdom as a female. But then Shankara's like almost contradicts himself. He says, okay, so it was Vidya, well, it was in the form of a woman. Well, she appears in the form of Umma, the mother, the golden one. He says, Indra beheld knowledge, the fairest of the fair, because, not Vidya. Indra beheld Vidya. So now the mind cannot see Brahman. It happens especially to me when I read the Mahamudra, the teaching, the Ganges, the teaching that Tilopa gives to Naropa. My mind runs up to one of those verses, so beautiful, I get, I didn't get anything. Because when the mind runs up to Brahman, Brahman disappears, but it's not the nihilism, it's not the end, it's not game over. It's only game over if you give up. Indra didn't give up. The mind didn't give up. Indra didn't give up. Indra stays and sees what mind can see, what mind can sort of know, which is wisdom, which is knowledge, which is vidya. That we can also say, if Indra is manas, buddhi now appears. A higher kind of knowing is appearing. So Shankara says, Indra beheld knowledge, vidya, fairest of the fair, and this epithet is very appropriate in the particular context, as if adorned in gold, because it's the illumination. The mind is having a moment of illumination. And then Shankara, still trying to puzzle out this enigma, says, Himavatim, it could mean the daughter of the Himalaya. who is ever associated with Lord Shiva, the omniscient. So Lord Shiva, described here by Shankara as the omniscient, Lord Shiva is the one who dwells on Mount Kailash, ever immersed in meditation, dwells on Mount Kailash, dwells at the crown chakra, dwells at the pinnacle of everything. And the moment Uma sees Shiva, she will have no one but him. She whom all the world's desire will marry no one but him. She wants only him, the most disreputable. He's the most disreputable being because that supreme knowledge transcends the world of convention. Lord Shiva transcends, as a Sufi Sheikh would say, the limited family, the limited society, the limited conceptuality. Because Lord Shiva transcends all this, he is the outsider, the disreputable one. He's not who you want your prince. When you're the king, the lord of the Himalayas, you don't really want your daughter to go marry someone disreputable, but she won't have anyone else. So she is ever associated with Lord Shiva. Only that wisdom, only she who lies beyond the mind, whether we call her Vidya, Sri Vidya, Sophia, Uma, whatever we want to call her, only she can carry us, give us this insight. She told Indra, she gave the pointing out instructions to the mind. So going back to Shankara, the Shankaras, everyone finds this such an enigma. Indra beheld Vidya, fairest of the fair, and he says this epithet is very appropriate. She is very fair, as if adorned in gold, because she illuminates. Himavatim may mean daughter of the Himalaya, and being ever associated with Lord Shiva, the omniscient, and having approached her, he asks, who is this spirit that showed itself and then vanished? And she is able to tell him. So if we run up with our mind and if we don't give up, it's very important. Remember, Agni gave up, Vayu gave up. Mind, Indra runs up to it, and even when it vanishes, the mind does not give up. You don't just like, this text is so difficult, I'll never get it. It's always tempting sometimes. I went through moments in my midlife where I felt like I gave up everything in the world to attain this spiritual knowledge, and I haven't attained anything. So now I've given up one thing and not got another thing, and you can have this whole drama about it. The point is just keep going. The point is stay. I think there was a cartoon going around, one of those doggy cartoons, about the main point of meditation is to learn sit and stay. I think I saw this cartoon on Facebook, but it's very good. Sit. Nothing's going to happen if you don't get to that cushion. Sit. Stay. We have to learn to stay. That's what Indra did. He stayed. And when he stayed, when it felt like everything had disappeared, this is like the dark night of the soul. They run up to it, it's gone. Then comes this golden woman being. Then comes this moment of illumination, and she says, "It is Brahman indeed. Attain glory in the victory of Brahman." From her words only, he learned that it was Brahman. Shankara says, "Glory in the victory of the omnipotent Lord, for the demons were defeated only by Brahman." Your notion that the victory and the glory are yours is false. From her words alone, says Shankara, Indra learned that it was Brahman. The force of only means, from her words only, from her words alone, he couldn't figure this out for himself. The mind cannot figure this out, but he did sit, stay. And when we sit and we stay, the moment of illumination will come. So these gods, Agni, Vayu, and Indra, much excel the others because they touched the Brahman the nearest. They it was who first knew the spirit to be Brahman. And Shankara says, because these devas, these gods, Agni, Vayu, Indra, approached the Brahman nearest by conversing with and seeing that, they surpass the others considerably in the matter of power, quality, and affluence, because the devas, Agni, Vayu, and Indra approached the nearest and most desirable Brahman by such means as this conversation, and because they were the first who knew Brahman, they are the foremost. Therefore also does Indra, the mind is the foremost of all the gods, therefore also does Indra considerably excel the other gods, because he approached Brahman nearest, and because he first knew the spirit to be Brahman. And Shankara doesn't really say anything different than what the text says here. There is this symbolic statement about it. This is verse 4 of book 4. As when lightning has flashed, ah, and made us blink, ah. It is the lightning bolt of illumination. If it is inculcated by illustration that it flashed by lightning, it appears and vanished in the blink of an eye. And Shankara says, of the Brahman, the subject discussed, this is Adesa. Adesa is instruction by illustration. The illustration by which Brahman, there is no second, there is nothing like unto Brahman. We can't say, well, Brahman is like this, Brahman is like that. The like of which does not exist, so we have to have an adesha, we have to have an illustration. What is that? That which is well known in the world is the flash of lightning. Therefore, to understand it means the flash of lightning. Like the lightning flash, like the brilliant, dazzling flash of lightning. Just in the blink of an eye, the flash of lightning, and we awaken. So there is the adesha. We can't tell anything about Brahman, but we can say the blink of an eye, the flash of lightning. Ah, ah. So much regarding deities. Regarding oneself, I'm going back to just the text of the Upanishad. Mind seems to go to it, and by it the imagination at once remembers. It is called the beloved. The mind goes to it as fast as the mind wants to go to it. Here in the book says it is called the beloved. It should be worshipped as the beloved. All beings greatly love the one who knows this. As Tadvana, it must be worshipped. Who thus knows Brahman is loved by all living beings. Shankara says about this word, Tadvanam, Tat is Brahman. Ha is well known. Tadvanam is Tat plus Vanam. It means that which deserves to be worshipped as the one Atman of all living things. This Brahman is well known as Tadvanam and should therefore be worshipped as Tadvana. It should be worship, meaning, says Shankara. You're not going to go out and do a puja to Brahman. Worship means contemplated. And the fruit attained by one who contemplates Brahman is love. All beings love that one. Sir, tell me the secret teaching, says the questioner. The secret teaching has been told to you. We have told you the secret teaching of Brahman. Tapas, often translated as asceticism, the sweat of making a real effort, pushing ourselves at least a little bit. Self-control and karma are its pratishtha, are its support. The Vedas are all its limbs, and its abode is truth, satya. Whoever knows it as such destroys evil, and in the end stands firm, prati, standing firm, stands firm in the highest heavenly world. Sir, tell me the secret teaching. I've told you. We have told you the secret teaching of Brahman. Now, what do you have to do? Tapas, self-control, karma, those are its supports. The Vedas are all its limbs. Truth is its dwelling. Whoever knows it as such destroys evil, and in the end stands firm in the highest heavenly world. Om. May my limbs, speech, breath, eye, ear, strength, and all senses grow strong. Everything is the Brahman of the Upanishads. May I not reject Brahman. May Brahman not reject me. May there be no rejecting. May there be no rejecting of me. May all the dharmas which are in the Upanishads be in me who delight in the self. May they be in me. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. That concludes the Kena Upanishad.
Thank you for tuning in to Ayurveda and Spirituality with Alakananda Ma. We hope today's exploration has ignited a spark of curiosity and insight within you. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us a 5-star review and share it with a friend. For more enlightening discussions and practical wisdom on Ayurveda and spirituality, subscribe and join our Facebook group, Alundi Ayurveda. To allow us to continue sharing valuable content, consider donating to Alundi Ashram. The links will be in the show notes. Until next time, may you walk the path of Ayurveda with grace and embrace the light of spiritual wisdom in your journey.
Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardanam urvarukamiva bandanam mrityormukshi